2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday the 24th of December. It is Christmas Eve. And a big happy birthday to Dr. Fauci, Carol Vorderman, Ricky Martin and Ryan Seacrest. There were 119,789 new cases of COVID-19 and 147 additional deaths announced yesterday. That's another record highest number of cases, but Health Secretary Sajid Javid says the government has no plans to announce any further COVID restrictions this week in England.
Yeah, people should enjoy their Christmases with their families and friends. Of course, remain cautious, and we will keep the situation under review. We're learning more all the time, as we have done from this new data, and we will keep analysing that data, and if we need to do anything more, we will, but nothing more is going to happen before Christmas.
The UK's health security agencies carried out an analysis of the early cases of the Omicron variant, and their findings match with the Imperial College analysis from Wednesday. It appears that there's significantly lower risk of hospitalisation from the Omicron variant, somewhere between 50 and 70% less for those who've been vaccinated. Dr. Susan Hopkins, Chief Medical Advisor at the UK HSA, says it's a good sign.
So I think this is cautious. This is a sign that as an individual, your risk of severe disease is potentially reduced and your risk of hospitalisation is reduced. However, we've got very high amounts of infection circulating. And so the more infections that we have circulating in our population, the more people that will get admitted to hospital and put hospitals under pressure.
It's been quiet this week, probably clicking refresh on Dominic Cummings' blog to find out what party picks Dom's published, but Boris did have a seasonal message of gratitude for all involved in the battle with COVID.
And last week, thanks to you, 70 million lateral flow tests were dispatched. And thanks to all that's being done by you, of course, by our friends at the Royal Mail, the number of boxes sent out last week from gov.uk was 3 times higher than a month ago.
And former Prime Minister David Cameron popped up with Sky's Adam Bolton, who's stepping down from Sky News at the end of the year. Old Dave was happy to chat about Boris and his uncanny knack for getting away with things. Bertie thinks Boris needs to be more accountable.
Well, Boris has always been able to get away with things that mere mortals can't seem to. But no, I think you shouldn't do this to bypass the media. You go on having, whether it's press conferences or interviews or media events. This is important, and I always did.
The trial of former Minnesota police officer Kim Potter concluded on Thursday. She fatally shot Duante Wright during a traffic stop of April this year, claiming she mistook her service weapon for a taser.
We, the jury, on the charge of manslaughter in the first degree, find the defendant guilty.
The jury deliberated for almost 27 hours over 4 days, and Duante Wright's family outside the courtroom were delighted to see justice served. Duante's brother Damek spoke to the crowd.
We're happy with the verdict, we're happy with everything, and excuse my language, but we're gonna let that rot in hell.
Thursday marked the retirement of a news icon as Channel 4 News' Jon Snow signed off on his final bulletin. He's been the main anchor of Channel 4 News since 1989, a mere 32 years, and now at 74, he's off to enjoy retirement. Although as the father of an 8-month-old child, he might not be getting that much sleep. His emotional sign-off included many thanks.
And thanks to the far-sighted governments, regulators that have given us an hour of independent news in prime time. Thank you to all the people who have trusted me with their stories all over the world too, often in appalling circumstances. But most of all, I'm so grateful to you at home. Yes, you sitting there. It's not always an easy watch, and we don't always get it right. But your hunger to know more about the world, it's been the greatest privilege of my life. Thank you. Stay safe. That's Channel 4 News. Good evening.
Still to come on the Smart 7, things kick off in the Premier League and Tom Holland is back in action. Right after this.
You're listening to the Smart 7. If you're enjoying it, you might also like the Smart 7 Ireland edition. Just search and follow us on your favourite podcast platform. The Premier League's been a cranky place over the last few weeks, with growing numbers of COVID cases and games being cancelled or postponed, which only adds to the already congested fixture list. Tempers are running hot. Pep Guardiola even suggested the players should consider a strike, as he feels the Premier League is not taking sufficient care of their welfare.
Should be, the players or the manager all together and make a strike or make something, because if just for the words, it's not going to be solved, because the UEFA, the FIFA, the Premier League, the broadcasters, the business is more important than the welfare.
James Franco was nominated for an Oscar in 2011 for his role in 127 Hours, but he's fallen from grace since with sexual misconduct allegations from multiple female students at his acting school. His school's closed and he was the subject of a class action lawsuit. He settled with a number of students in July for $2.2 million. Now, he's opened up about his sex addiction and admits what he did was wrong.
Look, I'll admit, I did sleep with students. I didn't sleep with anybody in that particular class, but over the course of my teaching, I did sleep with students, and that was wrong. It wasn't a master plan on my part, but yes, there were certain instances where, you know what, I was in a consensual thing with a student, and I shouldn't have been.
If you're a PlayStation fan, you've probably played Uncharted, the treasure-hunting adventure game. Well, now Uncharted The Movie's on the way, hitting cinemas in February. It stars Tom Holland, fresh from Spider-Man, Antonio Banderas and Mark Wahlberg. And it looks pretty much like a live-action version of the game.
500 years ago, my family found the world's biggest fortune, then was betrayed. People have been searching for it all in vain. But the voyage was not just about gold. It was something much more valuable. This cross has a very tragic history, so much blood.
I'm pretty sure he just threatened to kill me.
What else aren't you telling me?
The victor spoils.
How are they going to get them out of here?
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.